Hello, CNN and Fox News. There are a number of doctors and police forms and interbranch family members, retired and standing, who attached me to fake conversations that were never at all. And then after that, more doctors attached me to fake words. In other words, they made opinions to me not knowing me and pretending other, as is actually recorded. Now, see, these are various natures of courts involved criminally with triages, with uses of them, with natures of crime, not just there, but with their life progressions. See, now these are people with High Crest School and with further Weathersfield schools criminally involved with people intercities through CCSU through time since before anyone was born. But it's recorded how they have crime methods, motivations maintaining the fact cheating nature volume of the FBI, of the CIA, of their family members, of interbranch family members as fact treatment, recorded nature, recorded as criminal insidiousness nature, legalized but criminally, and valuing that because and that was his maintained outcome because by a breaching organized crime method that American history is really about. This is intercampuses, intercities, and worse than interstates maintained. But how they maintained worse than negotiated with terrorism, legal treatment, quality of fact treatment nature at the trade center, other nations' equivalents. See, we are in modern position, markets positions from semi-ancient times, forced nations individually grouped and all together as what causes negative value nature regressions and demonstration of how and why we're supposed to be grouped another way, individually grouped. And when that's messed up, we're supposed to be able to see that because nature causes positive or negative value nature regressions and demonstration of this. So we have a Facebook recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with all kinds of identity thefts, all kinds of crime methods, and further people with their family members criminally involved at the grammar schools. But because they painted themselves into corners with fake words with me through time, fake conversations that weren't at all, fake relationships with me growing up just because they were from my town. Try to walk by me and pretend others filmed. Literally, these are people involved with the Joshua Julian, with a whole bunch of people involved with CCSU, Trinity College, UConn, all facilitated the crime acts roles with a house in my area, facilitated the crimes with interbranch and very a long time ago police chief tied to this house indirectly and directly and the Weathersfield police chief now tied long-standing crime acts rules. See, but these are criminal uses of everyone leaving with the judges forging names and switching names, various natures of courts involved with these kids through time, and with the O'Brien family. People further with Sandy Hook, Newtown. People further with behavior crimes with sequence shifts, lying about my behavior, pretending they know me to do that, pretending they knew me in the past because I walked by them or had. There's a Marisol, for example. There are men and women not just interbranch, but we have more than a few women judges involved with the rest of the child sex offenders. Medical crime acts clicks with each age of fact treatment nature. Excuse me. Each age of fact treatment nature. So Facebook, and then they keep taking my account because they juxtapose a whole bunch of people to a whole bunch of nature or crime acts roles. Then you write lyrics, something in there, they steal. Then you're going to go debate in court. They have everything stacked against you because the police forms interbranch have been using Facebook for crimes intercampuses with hiding lie progressions and spreading rumors and lies with overt criminal enterprises. It's juxtaposed with all private tied and like stores and shared policing of them. Whole bunch of nations, foreign and domestic, special medical families criminally involved. Criminal uses of sensibilities in relationship to service people, things like that. So when it comes down to it, they keep no way anyone's going to leverage the standing position that they're recording in with the VA pathology, people stacking means to what they can afford and everything. Tactically denatured relationship to nature, to zoning laws recorded and confessed and demonstrated involved with the torture of our founders. their fact-shipping nature slavery. They're forced to entertain only, they could, there's only extent they had free speech. They had to be standing criminal and citizen natures to force roles with the sick pathology of nations that were maintained that, because they knew if you maintained defenses of sciences abridged from their this course using our nature's nature, it will continue to demonstrate that, as it has demonstrated with negative value nature progressions acts in nature since semi-ancient times. Acts like predicate acts associated with organized crime, characters acting, actions, and inactions. I'm not a police form, not a criminal. I'm not a lawyer. This is recorded and confessed and demonstrated how they use lawyers criminally originally still. This is what juxtapose a whole bunch of natures of crimes and liars. So we have police forms that are victim predators trained originally and still uncharged with precedents to training rules and everything like that. They're using criminally with crime methods like sequence shifting styles, covering live progressions with interbranch, pretending they have morality, things like that. Originally and still, because they're victims only capable of pretending to be morality, because that's where they were told. Everyone's forced to be a theater, morality, forced respected. Forced things mean that what they don't. In other words, what is simultaneously delicate and strong is simultaneously being pseudo cared for and forced to respect identity thefts, aggressions, interbranch, maintain leveraged. And this is intermilitary, maintain leverage, intermilitary family, foreign and domestic here, maintaining our areas and states in collusion with crime methods bonded here since before our nation's founding. Before our founders' birth, they already had Native Americans, tribes A through Z, forced to value nature systems into retreats and to tactically they lost the sophistication of the education they once had. They maintain all, for example, pretending, oh, we all came from Africa. That's not going to do anything and this was black and white, and all the intercultural took over internation sciences, set up the slavery forced here since before our founders' births. So now we wouldn't be able to blame that. We would have to react to negative value nature progression tax natures, but only being able to capable of blaming other things other than themselves, not being able to blame it on the organized crime method that is no one's being allowed to discern. Our organized crime countering bodies are recorded how maintained, motivated. They're only in defenses of jobs and database relationships that are involved systemically with this organized crime method originally since before our founders' birth, before computer databases. This was a database crime method tied to areas, standing sensibilities, juxtaposed in layers. Someone's going to try to counter all that with that. You're going to be seen in layers short of what you have to have a nature of unity that is anything other than criminal and seditious nature, negative value nature, unity. That's a whole bunch of people at once needing to pretend that unity alone is positive. You see what I'm saying? These a whole bunch of people at once need to pretend that all kinds of reasons to prevent people from speaking actual facts that are true always, not exploiting exceptions and not having indifferent to and worse with exceptions being exploited. Positive is not the real science is obligated to discern the difference between positive, that is, has criminal and seditious nature, and that is not. Real logic's course is this. I'll drop the force, not a doctor. The recorded and demonstrated confessed. These doctors are recorded. They use 3-time a triage relationship and recorded retired and standing judges, all kinds of federal crime methods recorded, crime acts recorded, fake identity thefts, fake conversations with me. They have physical delusions juxtaposed with that. their family members recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with this through time. We have the FBI's misprision criminality. This is a whole bunch of liars defending an identity that is as criminal and seditious nature and exploited that way. Lie progressions from each standing database relate justification relationship. See, this is how we have natures of child abuses maintained, facilitated exploitation of the nature or volume we are, each age of it simultaneously, distinctly and non-distinctly sickly. Sickly distinctly to keep how sickly non-distinctly from being discerned here and there, to keep markets positions like with DACA as means with sensibility natures that are standing, victim predators only capable of, you know, exploiting knowledge, insights into money systems as value systems, need valuing, pretended success is that, for example. All we need is recorded to admit that, and how each modern nation is recorded with and as the valuable pathology of infrastructure of relationships to afford means that are influenced by semi-ancient criminal foreign influences that are common. Ignorant not to counter that together, not to admit that together. All you have to do is respond to me. Tell me that, because the judges are recorded to confess forging names and switching names, crime rules, sequence shifts, crime acts with their databases, attaching little boys and girls to fake locations, fake relationships to others. Now these are foreign and domestic military involved with criminal uses of the ground together. This is private, like WFSB, criminally involved with a whole bunch of people from my town into branch, involved criminally with malls, shopping malls, with places they have sustained streams, like with the media police, communications departments, the departments of campuses used criminally from off of it, and this is maintained needed by them for maintained criminal foreign influence, various natures of police forms like CIA, FBI, military police, for recorded and confessed and demonstrated how crime methods using predicate acts, mail crimes, wire crimes, then denials of it, using the white right to lie to pretend for reason criminal ways they don't, tricks with their sequence shifting, then pretend that they're not doing they're pretending supposed to be allegations for a reason. They're making things up and doing it ahead of time and sustaining, the preventing mandated law, which is logic's integrity. So we have no integrity. That pretend little cheap tricks with the sensibilities of the presidents. See, because they want to pretend. How's it? And then they're keeping them knave with them. That's what I'm saying. You guys should just, you don't have to repent, but follow the rules. Follow mandated law. CNN, you guys are internation entrenched. Why, you shouldn't be, torturing people like me, stealing my identity with people interbranch. They know that they recorded, confessed, and demonstrated crimes with various natures of police intercities on off CCSU through time. They also criminally influenced, I don't know if she had criminal actions from it, but they criminally influenced the fact cheating nature of my relationship between Ms. Hicks and Ray Hernandez, with Connecticut interbranch leaders of all ages and their family members involved. People with a whole bunch of people in the Britain Superior Court, Hartford Superior Court, involved with a whole bunch of criminals, interbranch police, including court police and MPs, military police, crime acts roles on off CCSU, leading up to and in the Trade Center attack context with the same people, facilitated to it. See, these are people then with proven post-dated documents have been post-dated from inside the Ninth Circuit. Those are the people involved with the identity thefts against me and other WFSB recorded and confessed and demonstrated, attached my mother to sequence shifts and fake words and fake positions after they already did this, as recorded federal crimes they have with federal criminals that crime acted against my mother in the past. In my family in the past, proven. My father won an NLRB case associated with federal criminals associated with their sources They're also associated with crimes leading up to, and then in a 2006 district case with WFSB sources, retired and standing, and their fake news crime acts associated with those people. And those are a whole bunch of federal criminals associated with the House and with their family members associated with the House in my area, associated with the Phil Clough, further involved with the child offenders, associated further with Fox Connecticut News, with two Mendez police, two Domain brothers criminally involved, with two Mulcahy girls I never had a conversation with, never had a class with, never was close to them in my life, never was near them, never had, they were, John Mano said that they're other. See, now he's a person also involved with WFSB, federal crimes, with FBI, with Weathersfield Police, and with various natures of judges, forging names, switching names, attaching kids to fake locations, fake medical relationships to doctors. WFSB pretended I had a relationship to a doctor as a kid that never was. They just pretend things because they're hiding the lie progressions. A whole bunch of people recorded confessed through time. I didn't know who he was. This Dr. Leahy and his family members. You have women in his family too. And a son with the same name, Brenda Leahy, both involved with predicate acts, like mail crimes, fake conversations with me about agencies, extortion, identity theft, property theft, torture, constitutional rights prevention, like freedom of religion. They're forcing physical delusions and slanders against adults with integrity. We have criminally foreign influence through time invested. How many people were invested to criminality through a Weathersfield police chief? This Dillon family, retired, others retired and standing detectives, foreign and domestic, involved houses in my area, criminally involved with them. Uses of Facebook for the policing of the schools, fake behavior things, because they're sequence shifting with that. So they can't take positions, so they're forging names and switching names. These campuses are being used from off campuses from interbranch maintain criminally foreign influence already. They criminally acted in cases with too many natures of cases. These are people with crime acts roles with a whole bunch of nations through time, crime acts roles with forensics clicks, the same houses involved now with child offenders, involved with crimes with overt criminal enterprises reported confessed, and with the witness protection program tied to that. And these are various nations of criminal enterprises, sexual circles and stuff like that, all victim predators to an array of roles, groups, all maintain grouped or individual hurt, not they're letting no individual you get your identity theft, then you start being grouped. You know what I'm saying? And they make it have value because we have no integrity that way. Everyone's speaking through other things this way. This is an organized crime method. These are a whole bunch of natures of crimes at once. I never had a conversation with this Leahy family. This with this Dr. Zeman. I sat for he made statements. I told him he's nuts. I didn't tell him I had nothing. I said I don't, agree with him. He's recording confessed involved with the men and women judges and the British Superior Court. A whole bunch of drug clicks from there associated with Brian Silver that I never had a conversation with too. They also recorded, confessed, demonstrated that involved. See, they've been using Facebook. They're also recorded, confessed, and demonstrate using Facebook criminally. They're preventing people free speech, lying about the substance when we speak, and stacking lies into databases to pretend other, forging names, switching names, all kinds of formal drug crime roles with each age. All kind juxtaposed with as the ones with crimes with overt drug crimes, criminal uses of untimely deaths, like on off Trinity College, with the same ones with the crimes in my area, as the same ones with the on off CCSU in New Britain, straight in a line from the CCSU involved with doctors, with family members and stuff like that, associated with positions in college, that forged names, pretend they had a conversation. I don't even know what they look like yet. Like a Gilmore, recorded, confessed, involved too, with a whole bunch of people involved with crimes with the Weathersfield police chief, family members interbranch with each of the departments at CCSU, like the English department, stuff like that. All influence to it from off campuses. They're using the identities of the campuses. They're using the identity of each age, each person, group, dash, sex, area, everything connected. in a method here. So what we have to do, they're also recorded consciously and sickly, pretending people make conspiracy theories criminally. That's recorded. Now, see, they're faking. They have pretend they have conversations with people to do that, and they're playing rhetoric and semantic, using that as a each word they use is used criminally. That's recorded. See, we have physical delusions juxtaposed with mass criminality. States and areas valued here sickly distinctly, but sickly non-distinctly too, as it's valued in other nations. We have the pathology of infrastructure with Russia in here. You can't defend that and tell our American history. You can't defend that and tell Russian history accurately. The only thing that unites is the nature of volume, why we are individual, group, dash sex, species, nature of volume simultaneously as value. Clear. So means appear. So there are many natures of crimes that were in a method recorded that facilitates a whole bunch of people to motivations to pretend that they know the people. That's why they do those things. Like a Scalora family recorded, confessed, and also involved with the people involved with the Trade Center criminally involved. And crime acts roles with people with the identity thefts and criminal uses of my father's case for crime acts against me and against him. He didn't realize these are people crimes, criminal uses of the same crime methods. They were proven through time. Our nation's police forms, other nations' police, why they're all knaves stuck like that. Worse than negotiated with worse than terrorism. That's why we have people torturing each other and other lanes and stuff like that. These people prison, this spies. They talk about that. If you talk or try to talk about what they report, they'll torture you. And in other words, that's recorded because they'll do it even if you don't talk. They'll pretend you said things like this Leahy family. Pretend I had with a whole bunch of other people, various natures of courts criminally involved with him and his drug clicks through time. Pretend identity theft clicks, database theft clicks, database crimes clicks. They were supposed to report them involved with the see, he was involved with drug crimes with the Mendes people and with the Yagman family and people around that Samuel Dick's house, like with a Pandolf brothers. There's like three of them, I think. I've never had a conversation only with barely know the Mike Pandolf. He's involved also with the foreign and domestic, criminally involved with Town Line Drive, Town Line Drive, Town Line Road. Those policing there, a whole bunch of police forms involved with the and families associated with whatever interactions they have that are strange through the stop and shops, because they're also recorded and that confessed involved with some of the proven sex offenders further recorded involved with that further criminally with their doctors and with the interbranch here criminally involved, forging names, switching names, judges too, with falsified police reports from various natures of town for the same falsified arrests that came after, starting with a promise to appear. They delivered to my house to just through someone else, and then they pretend they kept making mistakes and they kept arresting me and stacking more people, forging names, switching it. They were already involved with crimes since before that. They were already involved with abuses of each age and fact sheet agent before that. Even them recorded using the victims of things to further those very same things. That's how the experts are being used criminally. They're using the identity of every, like they want to say, oh, they want to feel good about themselves because they're FBI or something like that. Defend the integrity. In other words, that was originally still left criminally foreign influenced. We're going to examine the organized crime method, but by examining the lies and the physical delusions and the criminal exploitations of the sequence shifts. For example, with this Mueller report, that's what this we're going to come to, as phrased by CNN. Now, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. I mean, even if that was directed, and because CNN is also directed to lie, because they said they have the right to lie, the FBI, but they also do that criminally. So, and they also are preventing that from being demonstrated how it's used to keep criminal foreign influences, like their users of a house in my area, as victims since they were kids, used by this These are the people involved recorded in crimes further interbranch and private, intercampuses and fire departments, fire training of the campuses, database clicks, town offices, election crime methods, all recorded. So see, they're pretending sensibilities, the way they have reactions to when people are with violence online and things like that, that is used to further it, per how they're using Facebook for crimes with the FBI, recorded with this, with former director of the FBI, his co-defendants in a tied case slash S, and a whole bunch of federal criminals associated with them and their family members are recorded having been facilitated to crime acts at each of the campuses I went to. Central Connecticut State University, Trinity College, a whole bunch of natures of federal crimes. These are also people recorded with tied untimely deaths. One on the campus of Trinity College, recorded and involved with them with all kinds of insidious crimes, pretending I wrote letters and email crimes, evidence reception crimes, and tricks, sequence shifts. This is interstates too through time. I just remind.